Okay, so Clay and I just got back from the movies. We had a double feature where we watched Wish, and then right after, like immediately, like when the credits started, like now we're gonna go into the other theater and watch Trolls 3, or Trolls Band Together, technically what it's called, not Trolls 3. So, because we liked the Trolls movies and we did all the DreamWorks, like we gotta go see it. We were gonna go see it Monday. And then one of us had said, I think I had said, oh yeah, the new Disney movie is coming out. And then Clay said, let's do it as a double feature. And you knew I wasn't going to say no to that. So we just got done. Do you want to start? Because we're going to start with Wish. And then we're going to start talking about Trolls. We might kind of mix and match a little bit. Would you like to start with the 100th anniversary celebration, the centennial celebration, and how fucking dog shit it was?
It's been a long time since I've seen a movie that I just hated. I hated this movie, and you hate this movie too. I'm still processing the sheer the murder that we just watched. Because, okay, this is the 100th anniversary movie.
Mm-hmm.
Disney. 100 years Disney. And so it's supposed to be this celebration of what Disney is about, you know. And that's why it's like, you know, making a wish upon the star. And it has references.
It is in there. Like, there's
references.
There is some stuff. To me, the big thing missing, aside from quality, is a princess. I feel like if our main character was a Disney princess, it like that, I went in thinking she
they're
would.
Probably gonna like advertise her as one anyways.
Probably. I mean, Mulan is, which I think is stupid,
but I witnessed a murder of what Disney, like Walt Disney himself, valued in his work. Now, say what you will about Walt Disney, like as a person. Because he had his problems. And even as a person who owned Disney, he had problems. He worked his people to the bone. He was a perfectionist.
Wasn't he also like a anti-Semite?
Probably. I believe he was.
I think I've heard that.
Again,
I don't know
say what you will about the man personally, but he was a man who loved animation. He loved exploring the possibilities with what was, during his time, a new medium. You know, Snow White was the first feature-length animated movie. You know, he was one of the pioneers of animated shorts, like Mickey Mouse, you know. And he had this passion for it, and he had this brilliance to it. I remember when we were doing our videos for this
Walt Disney
Walt Disney, was the Walt Disney
yeah.
flexing, where like every movie he made had this new technique, had this really new idea that thinking about the logistics of it for people doing this by hand still boggles my mind they were able to pull that off back in like the 40s and 50s and 60s. And then we have this movie which Number one.
I'm
so sorry.
Out of 100?
I probably have that many problems with the movie. Number one, this movie looks ugly. Honestly, I think it is one of the worst looking Disney movies we've seen in a while.
And I'm not going to fight you on that, because I will say, when the movie started, it has this very storybook kind of felt like aesthetic.
I was thinking of the Shrek opening though. When they
1000%. Like, yeah, because it literally starts with a book. They open the book, they start reading the narration. You're seeing the page on the page. I immediately thought of Shrek, and because you know how like
out of this like 20 years.
Like, you know how in Shrek 2, you got the storybook, and then it transitions from the storybook into the Shrek animation, like with Prince Charming. I was waiting for that to happen, but we still had like the felt storybook looking like backgrounds and shit. And I was like, huh, they're gonna do this for a while. Like, oh, this is just the look of the movie. Do I like this. And then when it came to the characters, especially with the goat,
Like, the
there were
characters
times
just looked like... the problem is the backgrounds looked felt, and the characters looked more like standard Disney characters.
the thing
like
is,
standard 3D
sometimes they would change. Like, I noticed with the goat, there were times where it just looked like an animated character, and then other times where it looked like it was in the felt style. And it was weird. The little stars all felt. And then I think pretty much everyone else just looked like a regular person. But yeah, I didn't think it looked very good, especially because we watched Trolls 3 right after. Like, oh yeah,
we'll get to that.
they've been doing the felt art style, and it looks great in all 3 movies.
Yeah. And I think the problem with this... there's a few problems with the way the movie's animated. Number one, I don't think the style of the backgrounds mesh well with the more standard 3D Disney animated look that they're going with nowadays. I don't think it really meshes that well with these characters. They pop out, and when you do have them looking more like felt, I was reminded of, and this is not a diss on Dragon Quest XI, but like kind of like how Dragon Quest XI would kind of look, like it would have this very painterly style. But Dragon Quest XI makes it work because Akira Toriyama's art style works with that kind of like color palette and that kind of medium. The art style of like Disney today doesn't work with this like background.
It's kind of like watching The Good Dinosaur. You got like these really beautiful backgrounds and then fucking Gumby in the foreground.
Yeah. And so the animation style felt inconsistent as well. It's like, compared to something like Encanto looks
fantastic.
Gorgeous. I love how the colors pop in Encanto. Here, the colors tended to be a lot more muted at times. Not even at times, like a lot of times the colors felt muted. Sometimes you would see some pops of color, but Encanto was all about color. Like the fucking scene where Isabelle and her sister are singing like the flowers. Mm-hmm. So amazing. But there were rarely moments where we could really see that in this movie.
I feel like the Maleficent greens that they had going on, like those really popped.
Like when they had like the green stuff, that looked good, and we'll get to him in a bit. But the animation style felt inconsistent. There were times where I felt like it felt cheap, like it almost felt like it was a TV show, like a TV movie, like an animated TV movie. Like there were times where I felt like it looked like that.
I don't know if I go that far, but I don't think I'm really gonna fight you on that either.
And the movie really doesn't do anything with the fact that it is a 3D animated movie. There are very few times where the colors really pop. Even when they're singing. The villain song is, I felt like, the only time where I felt like they were really taking advantage of the medium. And the villain song is great.
I feel like there was maybe another song where they kind of did. Like the one in the forest.
A little bit, but we'll get to the fucking forest scene.
I just remembered the trees.
Yeah.
They can't hurt me, right?
Not anymore. But the animation feels really inconsistent. There was even like at the very end where they're zooming out of the cast and they're doing like the fireworks, like the Disney fireworks and all that. I remember when we were watching Trolls 3, I leaned over to you and I said, they even made the fireworks look better in Trolls 3.
Yeah, I remember you said it a couple of times.
It was like, Trolls 3 looks leagues better than this. How the fuck is DreamWorks? How is Trolls 3? How does it have the quality that the 100th anniversary of a Disney movie doesn't have? And I think that's the most galling part of this movie. Like, if this was just another Disney movie, we'd be like, okay, it was kind of meh. This is the 100th year anniversary movie. This is like supposed to be a fucking masterpiece that's showcasing just what Disney is. And it falls so flat. I'm just talking about the fucking animation. We haven't even gotten to the story yet. And the story's the worst part.
Is it? I mean, it is, but like the whole movie is the worst. Okay, so before we say anything else, I have to say something very, very important that Clay can attest to. When we left that theater, I was gritting from ear to ear. I think this movie is terrible. I think this movie is dog shit. I had so much fun though, just hating this movie and thinking about how bad it was. I was smiling. Like, I was giddy going into Trolls 3, and not just like, I get to go watch another Trolls movie because they're so fun. I'm like, that was wonderful. I haven't felt hate like this in a fat minute, and it's great.
And I was just thinking, oh, we're gonna make a video about this.
Oh yeah, there was a point where I just kind of whispered during the movie. I was like, "We're doing a video on this, right?" You're like, "Oh yeah." I was like, yes.
I remember like 15 minutes, and you leaned over to me, and you're like, "I wish this was a better."
Yeah, I was like, "I'm wishing for a better movie," and
okay.
I didn't get it throughout the rest of Wish. I do want to go and talk about the things I did like about the movie, aside from Chris Pine.
It is a short list.
We'll talk about it. It is a short list because it deals with what you were just talking about, how this is the 100th year anniversary. The fact that what was her name? Like Asha? Asha. That was it. Thank you.
Tell me how much we liked her character. We can't even remember her name.
Yeah. One of her... This isn't something the movie really does anything with, but there's a scene early on where it reveals that she likes to draw and she's actually into animation. She has this little bit of animation with a goat, and she talks about how close she was with her dad and how, he was the one that taught her to wish upon a star and all that kind of crap. And so there's a part of me that's just thinking, this is a movie about someone who loves animation, making a wish, and wanting to make the wishes of others come true. And that person's greatest wish is to see people happy. That is a really good representation of what Disney is, or at least what Disney wants to portray itself as.
We kind of forgot about that.
As having that Disney magic. And I liked that.
Too bad the movie forgot about it.
Did they?
The
animator part, yeah, but about the, I want to bring people their wishes, I didn't forget that. There is a point, I think it's a couple points where the score, I just heard Wish Upon a Star, in the score, because they kind of had to. There was a point with, I think it's during the first scene with her baker friend. I leaned over to you, I was like, does she look like Snow White to you? Maybe that's just me, but I'm like, she looks like Snow White.
And then we met her friends.
Yeah, because during that scene, I was like, how many of these people are there? Are there 7? Including the Snow White girl, there were 7. And I was like, huh.
They weren't even consistent with that joke, because they only had 3.
Okay, yeah, so that's the thing. There is the one girl who's really quiet and will just show up at it. And I was like, okay, bashful? There's the one guy who's very quiet and shit, and I'm like, Sleepy? Okay, they call him Sleepy Simon. This guy's really loud and really short. He's probably grumpy. And then at the end, he's like, this is why I'm so grumpy. I was like, oh, there went the subtlety with the joke, but okay.
But I mean, that's pretty common with this movie.
Yeah, there's this one that's very clearly dopey. He looks like Dopey, he talks like Dopey. There's one point where there's a deer that's just named as Bambi, and I'm like, all right, that was fine, but you know me, I like Bambi.
I found myself rolling my eyes at a lot of these.
I feel like when they made it obvious, but
that's the problem, because most of them were.
That's the thing. But for example, I was like, that looks like Snow White. They're not super drawing attention to it, but I like that. Or, oh, okay, this friend, I'm seeing this dwarf in here, this dwarf in here. That's fun. Now him going, this is why I'm grumpy. I was like, okay, now you've ruined it. There's a part where she's wearing this blue hood and we're having a wand. I'm like, oh, that's a fairy godmother thing. I kind of like that. But then you can be our fairy godmother now. Now you ruined it. It was.
And they said the fucking words at the end.
You were looking at me. You even said you're
I was
say it. Say bippity boppity boo.
Do it. Fucking say it. By that point, I was so livid.
Now I'm trying to
simmering.
Now I actually have to think, aside from Chris Pine, is there anything else I liked in the movie? And I don't think so. So can we talk about Chrissy P, or do you have anything else you liked about the movie? I don't think you did.
It's just Chris Pine, and as much
Magnifico.
As much shit as we've been giving the movie, and as we're going to give this movie, let it be known, he was the only real good thing in the movie.
I There was a point, I don't know if you noticed me doing this, but there was a point pretty early on where I just started crossing my fingers, and I was
Like,
saying,
please be good.
no, I was saying, please have a villain song. I was like, please have
I
a
knew
villain
he had a
song.
villain song going.
I don't know if I knew that, but I was like, please have a villain song, please have a villain. Okay. The movie's dog shit, it probably won't get better, it didn't. But I got a villain song for the first time since what, Mother Gothel?
Something like that.
It's been a long time. And like, I don't even know if he's a good villain. Because like the writing is so bad throughout the movie.
We'll get to
But
that.
at the
to
very least, he's having fun. Like
Chris Pine's having the time of his
like the
life.
voice acting is fun. Even like his animation, he feels like he's a bit more lively than everyone else. He like gets to do shit. Like his colors, like when he starts using dark magic. Like I said, it's this very Maleficent green. I'm like, this is looking pretty. There's this one song near the climax that you even said, you're like, I don't feel like the song needed to happen. Like, why does it exist? But they keep doing this cool thing where they're like making like shadows and silhouettes of Chris Pine. We keep calling him Chris Pine and not even Magnifico because that's how little the character like was that good. It was just the voice actor carrying.
It really was. Because it's like, I even leaned over and told you during the movie, I'm like, Chris Pine is doing so well because he knows this is like the first time we've had a proper Disney villain, and he's got this opportunity. He's gonna milk it. Right?
It's like he is chewing the scenery, and I'm just over here like, dude, take my scenery so you can eat. Take my wish to make to entertain me because you're the only thing that's doing it. Because God bless Alan Tudyk, he had nothing to work with. The goat was so unfunny. I remember looking at Clay at one point, because we talked a lot in this movie, just kind of whispering to ourselves, and I was like, I don't think the goat said anything funny yet. And we were like in the third act of the movie.
And he never did.
Never did.
That goat was so aggressively unfunny. It made me mad because it's Alan Tudyk, and Alan Tudyk's fucking hilarious.
There was another point where I just looked at you and I was like, dude, mutton chops sound really good right now.
And again, this is not due to Alan Tudyk.
No, because he's
a
great.
fucking national treasure. It's just that the writing in this movie is god awful. It's fucking terrible. And I'm not even talking about like the dialogue choices.
Although it's not good.
It's not good. It's that the movie cannot decide what it wants to do with itself. Okay, going back to Chris Pine's character.
Yeah, like I'm gonna defer to you for a fat minute.
King Magnifico.
I'm gonna do that every time we say his name. It just feels correct because he is Magnifico. Check the name. It's like the first line.
I love how it also sounds like the name of like a stage magician.
It really does.
Which is kind of what I thought was going to be happening going in. Is that no, it is all smoke and mirrors. He's just lying to people. But no, he is actually an all powerful sorcerer. When I really got into his character at first because I really liked the general idea of this setting is that he lost everything when he was really young. So he and his wife moved to this island and, he learned like magic so he could grant people's wishes so he can keep people from losing their homes like he did. And he built this magnificent place. And it's like his motivation is that, yes, I want to grant people's wishes, but people are dangerous and their wishes can be dangerous too. They, like, for example, like Asha's grandfather, his wish is very vague. And it's like, I mean, you could take it one way, or you could take it a really, really bad way.
And to say what the wish was, I want to inspire people. And it shows him playing like a lute.
And he's like, inspire them to do what? To overthrow me, maybe? He's very paranoid. But it's coming from a place where you understand why he is that way he is. He's not just an asshole. And so I thought we were going to kind of do a thing where it's like he is a bit more of a redeemable villain, kind of like the grandma in Encanto, who, again, isn't necessarily the villain, but she is kind of the problem. And it's like, yeah, what he's doing isn't good, but he's doing it from a legitimate place of, like, worry. It's like, I don't want people to go through what I went through, and I don't want to lose my home again. Man, they forgot about that. So problem number one is they forget about, like, what makes his character sympathetic, like, partway through the movie, and they just make him a bad guy. And You could argue that that's because, like, he is slipping off the deep end. You know, like, that paranoia is eating away at him and it's making him worse. And then he goes full-on villain. Okay, that's fair. But then there's the way it ends.
Yeah, I know
The way it
exactly what
ends-
you mean.
Pissed me off. Because it's like, okay, so at the end, it's like, oh yeah, he's like destroying everybody's wishes. He's like, no, I'm the only one who gets power, you know. And at this point, he's just doing it for power's sake.
And I feel like we should also say by this point, he has literally started reading from a cursed book that his wife said, you shouldn't do this because I'm worried it will have a bad hold on you. So there is the implication that it's not just, oh, he's been an asshole the entire time. It's like, no, he started relying on the book, and now he's maybe not fully in control of himself anymore.
And so they beat him through the power of song, like it's a really bad My Little Pony special.
No,
And even
like
that's
it's a
insulting.
Symphogear episode, and that's why
That's
I can't hate it, because that's what fucking Symphogear is. It is, we are gonna sing, and we are gonna power up, and then we are going to punch God in the face and or blow up the moon.
Yeah, but this wasn't nearly as awesome as that.
Oh, of course it wasn't.
So they sing really loud and they negate his magic, and then suddenly, because he built like a magic like staff thing to like use more power, I guess. And it's like the magic of everyone singing really loudly at him sucks him into the staff, and he gets trapped in it, which is something that was never ever explained as to how in the world that's a thing. And then, like, you know, at the end, you know, he's trapped in, like, this, like, little amulet. And his wife's like, send him to the dungeon. 8 million years dungeon?
She's like, I don't know, Magnifico. You've always loved mirrors.
Like, man, there went a lot of that, like, lovey-dovey shit they had. Which, granted, he was being kind of an asshole, but, like...
Yeah, like, he had, like, threatened and attacked his wife. Like, it's understandable.
It's a little bit more understandable at that point. But again, it is one of those things where it's like... I feel like his punishment's a little harsh, don't you think? Because, I mean, he was kind of an asshole, but, I mean, it was also because he was possibly possessed by a book, which isn't really explained very well, but...
Like, I dead ass what I thought, because the fact it's like, okay, we're going to beat you through the power of our singing and our unity. Yeah, like, it's some Friendship is Magic Symphogear shit, and I love that shit, but even here, I was like, this is stupid. Because I remember, I didn't say this to you, but I just thought to myself around this point, yes, but I was like, he's set up so well. Like, there's no way they can beat him without pure bullshit. Because, like, no, like, he has them, and then it's pure bullshit. Then he gets sucked into the thing. I was like, wait, what the fuck? This makes no sense. It's not like with Jafar, where, like, no, it's been established.
Aladdin. You want to know how he beat Jafar? He played to Jafar's weakness and outsmarted him.
Like, it made perfect sense. Here, it's like, no, you activated my trap card. Main character bullshit, which allows me to play my second card, Pot of Greed.
Because here's the thing.
It makes no sense.
I think the big reason why this doesn't work, like his villain defeat doesn't work, is he's defeated not through his own character flaws. Think about, like, pretty much every Disney villain. How are they defeated? Through their character flaws. Jafar is defeated because of his desire for power. Aladdin uses that and outsmarts him. Frollo's defeated because of his single-mindedness. He didn't look where he was stepping.
Scar is defeated because he can never stop trying to talk his way out of things, and eventually he got caught in his own bullshit.
Yeah. Okay.
Ursula just got impaled by a fucking ship. That was definitely her weakness. She didn't have enough battle armor.
Although you could argue the reason why is, again, her single-mindedness and her sadism. Because she was torturing Ariel. I feel like she was playing with her at that point.
I feel
she
like
wasn't
that's
looking
fair.
at where she was going. Gaston couldn't let it go.
Mm-hmm.
He had an out. He couldn't let it go because of his pride. And that was a big part of his character. Magnifico was defeated through pure bullshit. Nothing about his character flaw is exploited, which is what makes villain defeat so satisfying. Because you want to see them taken down a notch, but you want to see them taken down a notch because of their own flaws. That's what makes them so memorable.
Or at least a cool fight.
Like Maleficent.
Because I don't think Maleficent's beaten by her flaw. It's just, no. He slayed a fucking dragon, but it was badass.
Yeah.
But here's also the thing, is what I dead-ass thought was going to happen. It's like, all right, he's been defeated, blah, 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 blah. I thought his wife was essentially going to wish for her husband back and be like, look, I know he did some really horrible things to people, myself included, but
It's not a bad
I
guy.
know the man that I married. I know the king of Rosas. He's a good man. He built this place because he believed in it. There is genuine love for his subjects. He was not perfect. He had his problems. But I wish for that book's hold to be gone from him. For him to be maybe not like completely pure or something. It's like to essentially save him from that. I don't think he should be king anymore. He's proven that he can go too far. But I want him back and to give him that chance to kind of recover himself. And instead she's like, nah, I kind of like you in here. You're going to go in the dungeon, fucko. I was like, okay.
Damn, girl.
Sure, dog. I guess we're doing this.
It left a bad taste in my mouth. And not just because the climax was awful, because I feel like, honestly, he kind of didn't deserve that. Like, it felt like out of nowhere, because, like, him getting sucked into the staff makes zero sense. Because it's like, okay, going back to what you said about Jafar, he gets sucked into the lamp because a genie goes back in its lamp. Nothing about his staff ever says that, oh, if you fuck up through the power of song, I'm going to eat you or something.
Yeah, like, not a Disney movie, fucking Anastasia. Like, Rasputin makes it clear, if my reliquary is destroyed, or, like, I sold my soul for this, and as Bartok is like, okay, I get it. You break it, you buy it. If this is broken, you are fucked. Got it. We understand
Literally.
that. Yeah, it's like, that's not what happens here. He just gets bullshitted out of existence. They just use the fact that we're all stars.
Nice going, superstar. Nice going, superstar.
I never said that, but I thought of it. Like, definitely when they were singing that song about how we're all stars, I was like, we're all superstars.
Gregory, you'll have to vent. I know it sucks. And
Yeah, I remember
that
you
joke.
said that. I do remember that now.
Okay, so can I talk about my least favorite thing in the movie?
You already did. It's the goat.
No,
There's something worse than the goat. Is it the songs?
no, it's the main character,
Oh, okay. Who?
Asha.
Asha.
I don't like Asha. I really don't.
Why don't you like Asha?
So,
Because I don't either, but I don't know if it's for the same reasons.
I think for me, what I don't like about Asha is that she's kind of a nothing character. Like, okay, let's imagine for a minute that she is part of the Disney princess lineup. Let's compare her to the other Disney princesses. Mulan, she is a character who
Is goated as fuck.
she's goated as fuck because she wants to bring honor to her family. She may not have the base talent for it, but she fucking learns and she becomes a capable soldier, and she's always had her brain. Belle, she has a lot of charisma, she has her smarts, and she is a genuinely loving, caring person whose influence changes the heart of the beast.
Cinderella, one of the hardest working people you have ever seen in anything, and goes
always
through
does it with a smile.
and goes through so much shit that you just want to see her succeed. Aurora sleeps. It's like, Aurora is not much of a character, and to me that's like the one problem with Sleeping Beauty.
Yeah.
Even Snow White, I guess Snow White at least has the fact that she's just so darn chipper. It is
so
infectious.
Nice. And that's the thing. It's like, I feel like a lot of the Disney or like Tangled. I fucking
Rapunzel's
love
awesome,
Rapunzel's
dude.
awesome. You know, Elsa. I actually really like Elsa and Anna in the first movie.
Yeah.
It's like, but these characters all have something to bring to the table. I feel like Asha really doesn't. She doesn't have any noticeable talent. She
can animate a little
which
bit.
is brought up fucking
They don't
once.
do it. And even Chris Pine's like,
Cool.
do we call this a talent now? Which was a pretty funny joke. Like, I appreciated it.
It's like she has no noticeable talents. Her main motivation is, I understand her motivation. She wants to get the wishes of her grandfather and her mother back because she doesn't want them to just stagnate in Magnifico's lair forever. But I mean, she doesn't really display anything of note. Like, okay, I thought that her thing going in was she wants to be the apprentice, the sorcerer's apprentice.
Oh God!
I'm just taking that long to figure it out.
Yeah, I never even thought of it.
I thought she wanted to be the sorcerer's apprentice because she wanted to learn magic, and that would have been really cool. And that could have been something with her characters, that she is a mage in training. You know, because like they give her a wand during the climax, and she does fuck all with it. It does fucking nothing. And then they give her a wand at the very end. They're like, "Oh, you're gonna be our fairy godmother." I'm like, why? The only cool thing she did was give a tree a fucking sweater. Okay, never mind. The only thing she did was give a tree a fucking sweater. Like, it was never, like, her motivation for being the sorcerer's apprentice wasn't even to learn magic. It was just so she could get her grandfather's wishes granted. Which, even, like, Magnifico was like, wow. You know, usually it takes a few months for my apprentices to ask me that, but wow, you just went out right out and said. And I could just feel his disappointment, and I understood his disappointment.
It really was, because, you know, at first, like, they're talking for a bit, and he's like, you know, like, I can
kind of get where you're coming from.
I can feel your desire to want to help people and to make the kingdom a better place, and I know your enthusiasm for it. Like, that shit gets back to me. I want to show you the wishes. And then they have, which might be the most, like, nothing boring song in any Disney, because it felt like it was going on.
It felt like it went on, and it didn't even really, like, do anything.
I was just like, we're still going with this
I think
song?
that was the.
Okay.
I think my major problem with that song and a few other songs is that they don't really do anything for the story.
Well, so what that one is trying to do with the story is, like, look at how pure a wish is. Look at how beautiful a wish is. And this is, like, as much as we love our people and our kingdom, this is what it's lacking. It is lacking that soul. This is the soul. But yeah, and then right after that, and then you do see with Magnifico, because I was kind of thinking, I was like, oh, okay, like, he collects the wishes to have, like, a bunch of people he can control, because without these wishes, without these goals, without that soul, they have no desire, and that's just not how it really comes across. Like, they don't really do anything with that.
And it's like, that's kind of part of it, but most of it is a genuine, like, okay, I do want to grant people's wishes. I just need to make sure they're fucking good ones.
And
which is fair.
But you do see, like, when he's doing the song, like, it's not like, yes, I keep them here because they grant me power or anything. He's like, no, like, they are beautiful. And then Asha's like, yeah, by the way, my grandpa turns 100 today, and I know the thing is today, so, I mean, oh. Okay, we're doing this. Let me fucking see it. He wants to inspire. Here's the thing, and maybe you think I'm being an asshole because of the circumstances here, but, like, genuinely, and that was the thing, I was like, I don't know how much of this is him being a dick because of her complete lack of subtlety, and how much was genuine. I think it's kind of both. He's like, inspire, but inspire what? It is too vague, because you can inspire something horrible. It's like, my grandpa's a good person. Like, cool.
I don't know that.
I don't know that. And clearly, I don't know you either, so why would I trust you for that? So, No, like, I think this is something that...
They'll be safe.
They'll be safe, but, like, yeah, this is never going to be granted. Which, there's also this really interesting thing where she's like, those wishes don't belong to you, and I'm like, they were willingly given to him, so at that point, they kind of do. And I remember you were saying, it's like, well, I mean, it's under false pretenses, but I'm like, but are they,
but
though? Because the pretenses are, you'll give your wish to me,
and at some point I might get
it's like, you'll forget you had the wish, so any, like, depression that would come from not having your wish granted is gone. It's something that might make you happier, and if I do grant it, because maybe I will, maybe I won't. I'm not gonna confirm that everything's granted. You get it back, and you'll be so fucking happy. And they even say it a couple times. It is completely optional to give him your wish. You are not forced to do so. Because if he did, you're like, yeah, this guy's a fucking dictator. But
he's also a king, so...
Yeah, but it's like, but you you don't have to. So, like, what the fuck, Osh?
Yeah, it's like, I mean, yeah, he was being kind of a dick, but also, you kind of understand why he's like, oh, look, it's another person who's just asking me for shit. And, like, because even his villain song goes where he's like,
how, like where's my thanks?
Like, look at all the shit I have done, and people still keep asking me for more. And I get kind of nothing for it. And it's like, God, he's like the only good part of the movie, and then they fuck him up too. And it's really shitty. Because, like, even if it was a thing where it's like, yeah, his paranoia got the best of him, and, you know, he descends into this madness because of, like, just his paranoia, yeah, that's really tragic. That's great. That sounds like a Tales villain. Honestly,
what can I do?
You know, it sounds like a great villain, and then they just fuck it up. And, yeah, Asha is a character who just doesn't have any meaningful qualities to her. Or, like, anything? Like, even her whole thing of, yeah, we're going to storm the castle and steal back her wishes. She doesn't have a fucking plan. She's just fucking winging it. She doesn't strike me as particularly intelligent, you know, or capable. It's like, yeah, the one time she gets into a confrontation with him, she gets her ass beat. Which, okay, granted, he is, you know, an all-powerful sorcerer hopped up on evil book juice.
Evil book juice is, like, really good, too.
It's good shit. Is it as big as the ring pop from the Trolls movie, though? That's good shit. But anyways, Asha is just such a nothing character, and her friends are kind of nothing characters that just got on my nerves, and the goat got on my nerves, and I guess the little Luma was kind of cute, I guess, but...
I guess it was fun. I didn't hate it. I'll give it that.
That is a positive for this movie.
It is. So do you want to talk about the Forest song? I think we should talk about the Forest song.
The Forest song is going to give me nightmares.
Is it just because of the trees?
It's the trees.
Oh gosh, the fucking demonic.
So like when the star shows up.
Trees, bro.
So when the star shows up, it starts bringing a bunch of shit to life. Like it makes the goat start talking to our detriment. Makes a bunch of animals talk and sing, and like mushrooms are like talking, and it's horrifying. And then we see the trees, and the trees are like some of the scariest shit I've seen in a Disney movie. Like
unintentionally,
like they look awful, and they look disturbing.
I also have to say we had shitty seats because this was like a packed theater, so at least we weren't alone in our suffering.
I don't even remember if we heard a lot of kids laughing during this movie.
I don't think we heard like a baby crying.
We heard like a baby crying,
like making sounds, and aside from that, it was like a quiet theater.
Meanwhile, Trolls, it was a pretty packed theater, and people were busting their guts laughing.
But like we had the seats that were like right in front of the screen, and so when the fucking tree shows up,
it is
jump scare. Right, it was like I jumped because I was like, "What the fuck is that?" Like it's. If you're familiar with Mario Party 2, there's this one map where there's just this big-ass tree with just a face. It's like, take that and then, like, demonize it. And you have the trees from this movie. I did not like it when they were on screen. Like, what even... That was the We're All Stars song. It's like, that's what, like... What the fuck? What did that even mean?
I think the way they explained it is that, you know, like, we're all made out of cosmic dust.
We're all made out of dust, so we're the same thing as... Because it's all the animals and the plants singing. It's like, yeah, we have wishes, too, because we're made out of stars and shit.
We're all made out of the same cosmic dust. I'm like, yeah, that cosmic dust didn't give you a bigger brain.
And because they're all made out of stars, that's why they were able to beat Magnifico, because the stars singing in unison granted their own wishes, so they didn't need him to grant their wishes, even though they, you know, did.
I miss Aladdin.
I
miss Encanto.
I was rebooting there for a second.
This movie's garbage. The more I talk about it, the more angry I get.
See, the happier I get.
It's a nice movie.
I love this movie because I love how terrible it is. I had such a good time hating it. I have such a good time talking about how much I hate it. Like, I think just going into the songs, like, I love a good musical. I say that shit all the time.
Yeah, it's keyword.
One of the reasons why I love Symphogear, but it's like the first song I think is fine.
It's the Encanto song.
Like, yeah, it's not great, but there is a lot of energy to it. Like, there's some nice dancing and shit. Like, it's pretty good. What was the second song? Oh, the second song is when they're like, wishes are beautiful. And I'm like, I got it. Like
Shut
a
up.
minute into the song. Why are we still going? Because I'm starting to fall asleep. Then it was
her
like
singing about
then it's like
wishes.
the big song of the movie. And it's like I think is fine.
I forgot about that song.
Like,
honestly,
I
it was
think
forgettable.
I think it goes on too long. Like most of the songs in this movie, because I remember listening to it and thinking, why is this song not that good? Because it's not bad, but like I've made it clear, I don't really like Moana that much. I think it's fine, but when she's singing, like you see the light on the fucking sea, it calls
And that
me
was
and
another
shit.
thing. I felt
I'm
like
getting into it.
I felt like the songwriting in this movie was really subpar a lot
It
of the time.
was, because like I'm like, even movies I don't super care for, I can still like feel something with the songs. Like this feels so by the numbers, and then here's all the animals, like, we're all stars, like, this is stupid. Then you get the villain song, and I was like, oh, thank God we got one. This one's actually fun. Thank you, Chris Pine. After that, I think is that long song about, it's like, hey, now that we know that he's an asshole, we have to do shit. You're like,
I hated that song, honestly.
A song that was like, it was catchy. I'll give it that. I thought it was kind of catchy. It took a while. Maybe it was just Stockholm syndrome.
I think it was just catchiness from the drum beat, which
yeah,
was good.
like the drum beat. The drum beat was hype, but like the song was. All the songs feel like they go on too long, and then you have like the big reprise at the end, which I liked, but even then, I'm like, in context, this is fucking stupid.
Compared to Encanto, where every song is so radically different from each other and
really
so memorable and so catchy. Like, fuck, this was only a few years ago. Why wasn't Encanto? I feel like Encanto should have been the 100th year anniversary movie. It's also about a family's wish, isn't it? You know?
It's more about like
the candle.
I mean, yeah, and it's about like their powers and shit.
Yeah, I feel, honestly, with the way it was, that feels more fitting for a 100th year anniversary movie.
I feel like this movie, the ideas of it were fitting for a 100th anniversary, but not the execution. And Encanto 1000% had the execution of a 100-year Disney. I remember saying, when I first saw the advertisements for Wish, thinking, I want to see it, I have to see it. Why is the 100th year celebration not a Mickey movie? It should be a Mickey Mouse movie. Let's be honest with ourselves.
Have we ever really had a Mickey Mouse movie?
Not one in the full canon, but there's like Three Musketeers and shit, which I've never seen, but I've heard actually slaps.
It's fucking psychotic. That movie's psycho.
But like, I know like there are Mickey Mouse movies. I think the closest we have in the canon is Sorcerer's Apprentice,
which again is just, that's a short.
Oh God! Why wasn't it just the new Fantasia?
Because Fantasia doesn't sell. Oh, I think he's dead.
It could have been a new Fantasia. We could have had Sorcerer's Apprentice again, because, you know, it would have had to have been, but then we could have gotten, like, other shit.
We could have had a good movie.
Oh my gosh, I could have gotten Fantasia 3! Oh, so can you help me out? Thank you! Oh... now I don't smile when I think of how bad this is. All it took was me realizing it should have been Fantasia.
So it's an F tier movie. Now it's not the bottom of the fucking
Oh
barrel,
no, it's no Home on the Range.
Or
It's no
Frozen
Frozen 2.
but it's right there with them, baby.
Even with Chris Pine, he doesn't give it a D.
I love the man. He is the only redeemable thing in the movie, but then they even managed to fuck that up. So yeah, no, it's down there. It's an F movie. It's shit.
I had so much fun hating it. I don't want to give it an F, but I can't give it anything else. Like, I can't give it a D. It's
too
horrible.
bad.
Like, I genuinely, like, again, the fact that, like, we're not even done with the first act of the movie, and I'm like, I'm wishing for a better movie. Because I've heard like 3 songs, none of them were good. I don't like the look of the movie. We haven't even gotten to the comic relief yet, and I can already tell it's not going to be funny. The writing is just not good. I remember you looking at me at one point and going, we're already in the 3rd act? Because the movie is so fast, but goes on forever at the exact same time because nothing fucking happens. And then when things do, it's like that. Like, again, it's like, oh, Magnifico seems like he's a pretty cool guy. Okay, and then it's like, oh, I guess he's just
an asshole
now. And it's like, yeah,
which I guess is kind of refreshing that we dispense with the twist villain pretty quickly.
Which is nice.
It's like, I will give it credit.
Where are we at? We're at 45 minutes.
God, we've been talking about this for 45 minutes.
Welcome to one of my videos, Clay. Keep in mind, I don't think any of our Adventure Time videos have, like, made it past 40. Maybe they have.
I think they've cracked maybe 15
like
minutes, maybe?
No, I think like 25 to maybe 30.
So it's bad. It's awful.
It's wonderfully
You want to know why it's an F-tier movie, even with Chris Pine? Because this is the 100th year anniversary. If it was any other movie, it would be like, it's a D movie because it's bad. F, because you're insulting me. Walt Disney is rolling in his grave thinking about this movie. Or his head's rolling around in that freezer, in Walt Disneyland.
Oh, there was this one little bit, though, that is very on the nose, but I appreciated it. When Chris Pine is, like, looking at wishes and he starts crushing them because he's got his Maleficent shit going on, he's like, oh, a boy who wants to, like, be a child forever. Enjoy Neverland! It's like, oh, you want a nanny to look after your kids? Pop in that one! Yeah! I was like, this is so dumb, but it's my kind of dumb.
And it's Chris Pine, which makes it better.
Yeah, like, thank you for being the one good thing in the movie.
So let's talk about an actually good movie, Trolls 3. And I never thought I would live in a world where I would say that.
I think it literally was like 2 minutes into the movie. Both of us didn't even say anything. We were both like, yeah, I'm already having more fun than I did in Wish.
Finally,
like, there were jokes that made me laugh. I liked the look of the movie.
There's good songs in it.
There's very good songs in it. Oh gosh, the villains are so much fun. The fucking rubber hose,
like robot looking shit, are so interesting.
Well, yeah, I deserve to be famous because I want to be, but I don't want to work for it.
It's so funny.
I got a great laugh out of that. There was one where it's like, our dances are fucking shitty. You can't get famous doing shitty dances. And I was like, that is the best fucking TikTok joke I've ever heard. It's like, I love this movie so much. I know I've said this to you before, but the fucking hustle button that they push to go like, fuck, like the look of the button, the fucking swirl, I'm like, I swear that is the look of the actual disc to the No Strings Attached CD by NSYNC. I don't know if that's a weird coincidence or if that's intentional.
Knowing this movie is
but it's probably intentional. I'm like, that is weird how similar that was.
Speaking of which, so the animation is already leagues better. And it's not even just because they've had 3 movies to perfect this art style. It's because DreamWorks knows what the fuck they're doing all of a sudden, which is really weird.
I mean, with the movies we've been watching, like, they kind of knew what they were doing for a fat minute.
And then they kind of, tanked for a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, then they made, like, Spirit 2.
Yeah,
or the How to Train Your Dragon sequels.
At least those movies look good.
Yeah, they do.
But
maybe not Home.
But Trolls, okay, the Trolls movies are always take me by surprise by just how creative they are. Because I remember when they were first advertised, I was like, oh, look, it's a stupid kids movie. And then when we watched the first movie for our DreamWorks marathon,
we were laughing our asses off.
I was so taken aback by just how good the movie was. Not just because it was animated fucking beautifully, but because it's really funny. And I actually...
Do you remember I'm fucking snorting was thinking about, like, you remember the fucking scene with Branch? The Bergens are coming and, like, pushes over the fucking coffin with the dude in the coffin. Oh gosh, that shit was gold.
What I love about the Trolls movies is they know they can get away with so much with their animation they get away with so many jokes that should not be for kids. Or like
I didn't think that both of us were gonna be tied up during this honeymoon. We were
stunned.
fucking howling at that line.
I was
That
stunned.
fucking killed us.
I was stunned that they wrote that. See, we're already having a much better time, you know?
I'm fucking dying, dude. This shit was so good. Dude, I had fucking pee. I remember I was telling you, because, like, when fucking Bridget and Gristle get tied up, and then there's the mini golf clown just going as they're approaching. I was like, dude, I'm getting Brave Little Toaster PTSD. Oh, no. There is no escaping from that fucking... No, it's not the clown. It's the fucking Crusher thing. That thing has terrified me my entire life.
Okay.
Oh, gosh.
So already this movie has a conflict that I am way more invested in than Wish was, which was, yeah, someone kidnapped our brother, and they are going to drain him dry for all of his talent. As like they said, he might have enough for maybe a Christmas single or a national anthem.
Yeah, it's like I'm feeling like so drained on talent. There might be enough for a desperate Christmas album.
But already it's like, oh look, stakes,
and funny jokes.
And I like these people because I really like Poppy and Branch because they work really well off each other.
When he fucking fakes his death and then starts like rolling away in his cage, and the dude goes, I always thought that ghosts would just float away when they die. That was another one that got a good laugh out of me.
The fucking like ring pop joke, which I had to explain to Josh, which is the fact that like in raves, they would I'm trying to remember, I believe it was they would take pacifiers so that when they were on LSD and acid and shit, they wouldn't like bite their tongues off, so they'd have the pacifier on. I believe that's what that is. And it is that kind of like reference.
Like, yo man, you want this? No. When I get on, I'll never be able to get off again.
It's like, don't just show that in public. Come on. Eric Andre is in this movie. And he knows the kind of movie he's in, and he's having a lot of fun. Yeah, the movie's just really creative and just really fun. So
it's a pretty fun climax too, of just like a big like pop show performance, like on the road and like essentially through like the Trolls version of Las
Trolls
Vegas.
tends to have really good climaxes. Like Trolls 2 has an amazing climax too, like the Battle of the Band shit. Like that's great.
Fucking Ozzy Osbourne.
But yeah, it's just, man, this movie is just so colorful and well animated and creative, and I like these characters, which for me, what I have to give this movie respect for making me like a character like Poppy, because ordinarily I would find I feel like I would find a character like Poppy not written as well to be incredibly annoying. But Poppy manages to be just have the right amount of energy, but also the right amount of intelligence. Like, not just like smarts intelligence, but also emotional intelligence. I like that she's not just some like ditzy airhead. She wants to talk to people about their feelings. She understands if they're going through things. She's also not a moron. I still remember in the first movie where she's like, okay, you want to stay down here? That's fine. I just told everybody else where your secret hideout is, so you can either come with me, or you have to deal with all these people.
The scene I remember from the first movie is like, hey, that guy betrayed us. What a fucking piece of shit. She's like, hey, he's our friend. Let him explain himself. Because
I betrayed you.
Like, oh yeah, this is like, thank you, Poppy. I betrayed you. And then she starts fucking strangling him.
Yeah, no, she's great.
And I also really like the scene in this movie where Branch and his brothers have a fight. It's the third act breakup, and then he's like, I'm gonna go, fuck you guys. When Poppy follows him, he's like, dude, don't even bother, because you're probably gonna leave me too, because everyone does. And she's like, hold on. We've been together for 2 whole ass movies at this point. Give me some credit, because I've stuck with you. Give me credit where credit's due. And he's like, you know what? You're right. and I'm sorry I was an asshole there. I just
like,
appreciate that.
Oh my god, emotional intelligence and healthy relationships. What the fuck is going on here? In a Trolls movie? My god. Justin Timberlake's always fun because he's just a guy who, like, anytime he's in, like, a voice acting role, he's always just really fun. Like, being
like
a
nailing Boo Boo. I've never seen the
fucking
movie, but I've heard him, like, do, like, that perfect impression. It's wild.
Yeah, and also just, you know, being a legitimately good singer. And, yeah, fucking NSYNC coming in for, like, the last scene is amazing.
He's like, yeah, this wasn't, you guys weren't the only band I was a part of. I was like, I grew up in, like, the late 90s and early 2000s. I appreciate that. The only thing that would have made this better is the Spice Girls.
Which they kind of make a joke about the Spice Girls in the beginning anyways. Like, the bro zone, it's like, okay, we've got the baby and the cool one and the hot one. I was like, I feel like that's a Spice Girls reference.
No, that's just a boy band thing.
Oh, okay.
Well, okay, so with Spice Girls, it was, let's see, Sporty Spice, Posh Spice, Baby Spice, Ginger Spice, and Scary Spice.
Okay.
Mel B, not in that the same order, but Mel B, Mel C, Jerry, Victoria, and Emma.
Okay.
I've seen Spice World more than any man should, and I haven't seen Spice World enough times. There is a scene where their bus driver, played by Meatloaf, says, quote, "I would do anything for those girls, but I won't do that."
But anyways, Trolls is just a way better movie than Wish.
Spice World is a much better movie than Wish. And I can say that. I've seen them both.
Oh my god.
I was not expecting to fucking reference Spice World when I woke up today. Oh boy.
I was not expecting to hate the newest Disney movie today, and yet here we are.
I wasn't expecting to hate it. Because I knew nothing about the movie aside from like the initial trailer. Like I was like, I don't want to look up reviews. I don't want anything to influence how I feel about it. And then you were like, yeah, apparently it's not very good. And that's like a 40-something% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Last time I tried it was like a 49.
And I'm like, oh, that's believable, having seen the movie. That might be a little high.
Yeah, it was bad.
Anything else?
Trolls, I think gets an A at the minimum, maybe an S. Which is, of course, completely opposite to the F that we're giving Wish. Don't watch Wish.
Yeah, I mean, maybe watch it if you
go watch it on Disney Plus when it comes out for free.
If you're like me and you can appreciate your own misery and just having a terrible time but thinking this is amazing, go watch it. But if you actually want to see a good movie, I genuinely can't recommend Wish. But I would recommend Trolls 3.
Yeah.
It's fucking great. Trolls band again.
We live in a world where this is a thing.
Okay, what's a better movie? Wish or Ruby Gillman? Teenage Kraken. Because I'm easily fucking going for Ruby Gillman, Teenage Kraken.
It's not even that good of a movie, but it's better than
Wish. Oh, Wish or Strange World? Which is better?
Ooh.
I'm gonna say Wish.
I think I have to give it to Wish because it has Chris Pine.
Yeah, it's
Strange World has nothing
Strange
about
World
it that
is
I like.
so bad, but I had fun watching Wish and how bad it was. I did not enjoy Strange World at all.
Strange World was just bad.
Like, I was just miserable, not like happy miserable.
Disney, get your shit together. What the fuck, man? Yeah, it's just garbage.
All right,
Yeah,
I guess that's how it ends. Bye.